In today's video, I want to talk to you about how subtle, yet how pernicious negativity can be in our minds. This negativity, which I believe now has largely come from other people and from the society, and it's not even really truly our own negativity. That's what I've discovered as I've done some reflections recently. I've thought that, whoa, this negative thought or this fear, this anxiety, this worry that I'm just thinking is my own, sort of by default, is it truly my own? I don't think so. I think it came from somebody else. That's sort of become my mantra of late. This fear, it's not actually my fear. It doesn't own me. It doesn't control me. I don't even know where it came from. This is a problem, is that across the span of a lifetime, we just absorb a lot of negativity from other people, from the news, from the world. It sort of seeps into our consciousness unchecked. But today we're going to do our best to check it. That's my goal in today's video. So where does the negativity come from? How does it filter into our consciousness? I made in my mind a very conservative, simple way to look at it. Let's imagine that amongst all your coworkers, friends, family, bosses, whatever, these people, they would say to you 9 positive or neutral things in a day and 1 negative thing. So this example is very generous, right? It assumes that most people are speaking to us positively, or at least in a neutral fashion about things that are happening in their lives in the world. Is very, very generous example. But this also means that you're getting 1 negative thing from everybody that you encounter in a day. It could be a complaint or an excuse or something that they're fearful about happening in the future. And I think that those negative things, even though so many people, they only told you 1 little negative thing, those negative things tend to outweigh those other 9. They tend to outweigh all the positives. Our minds are so geared towards focusing on the problems and trying to solve them. That's a very natural instinct or inclination. And because these are people in our orbit, we care about them and we want to help them try to solve their problems. So those problems do stay on our mind. And then I think, if we think about this over the span of years and years and years, and also if we keep in mind that some people, a lot of what they say is not very positive. A lot of what they say is negative. My example is very generous. I think a lot of the times people are saying much more negative things than they are saying positive things. But if we keep in mind all of that, then we start to realize how and why we start to live behind this. We live inside this little shell of negative thoughts and worries about things that really have come from other people over the course of our lifetimes. They're not even really our own. We start to mistakenly accept them and take them as our own. We haven't really thought about it carefully or reflected on it carefully. So now, again, I'm having this mantra and I want to share it with you that whenever you have a fear or a worry or some sort of anxiety in your mind, you might want to try this little mental hack or reframe and just say, this fear, it's not even my own. I don't know where it came from. This acknowledges the reality that our consciousness is very much shared. Like there is a collective consciousness. So there's a very, very high probability, I think, and I wish we could prove this scientifically, but I would imagine there's a very high probability that fear, worry, anxiety, source of stress that you have, it's not truly your own. It came from somewhere else and you're just believing in it without really a careful analysis or reflection. Let's get into some concrete hypothetical examples. If that sounds paradoxical, it is. But you might have a neighbor who's anxious about politics and what's going to happen if someone is in power or someone is not in power, and the policies they might make. You might have a friend who's worried that their partner has been unfaithful or is going to break up with them in the future and leave them alone. You might have a coworker who fears that they're going to lose their job or is debating whether they should change to a different company or not, and they're anxious about it. You might have a boss who is worried the company is not earning enough in terms of profits, or it might have to downsize or restructure. Maybe someone very close to you, like your own spouse or a parent, is worried about the health of another family member and what that might mean if something terrible happens to them. So you can see just through a couple brief examples how there's a lot of worries and negativities which comes at any human quite naturally in the course of life as it is today. Now, I want to caution you and say, I don't want you to be uncaring. I don't want you to be insensitive. It's natural to be concerned about the people in our orbits and help them with their problems. But what I'm trying to point out in today's video is that I hope that you and they desire to level up your ways of thinking, level up your mental strategies and your psychologies so that you're much better at dealing with those problems. You might already have a way of thinking about the politics that is more constructive and more positive than your neighbor. Their worry is not exactly your worry. You see the world differently. You might have a way of understanding relationships and breakups that is more positive and more constructive than that friend. You might have a way of looking at the loss of a job or a change of a job that is more positive, that is more constructive than your coworker. So sometimes when the fears come in and slip in, they can cloud the fact or sort of even actively destroy the fact that you have mental tools and strategies that are much more capable of handling the situation. Maybe those other people have them too, but they've just forgotten it, so you can help to remind them of it. But the point of today's video is that so many of our concerns, fears, and anxieties, they are really just figments of other people's imaginations. There's an acronym about fear. Fear is future events that aren't real. We worry about so many things that other people are worrying about, and more often than not, they never even happen. So don't live behind these mental walls. They're constantly being built stronger and constantly closing in on you just as a function of collective consciousness. I want you to see through that, be better than that, and level up. Remember the mantra, this worry, this fear, this anxiety, where did it come from? It's not even my own. This fear, it's not my fear. I'll see you back here in the next one.